Blizzard fans, we're here for another episode of the Cold Front Podcast, episode 2 here, as I'm Joey Bonadonna alongside BJ Steffen. BJ, we're fresh off the heels of week 1, a win over Vegas and a rematch of the championship game, but yeah, not quite. I think when we talked about this game last week, I don't think that we thought that this would be the week how it would go. I think last Monday it was 70 degrees, quick turn from where we were yesterday, about a week later.
Oh yeah, big difference. Driving back from Fishers was not fun.
Yeah.
Getting that snow, and then obviously our game moved back to Monday, and then eventually, unfortunately, being closed off to the public was a big change very quickly.
Well, let's address the elephant in the room. Largest snowstorm, largest blizzard in Green Bay since 1888. Literally the storm of a century. Obviously, game was supposed to be played on Sunday, got moved to Monday, and Monday still, the game was not played with fans, but the energy was still there in the building. You could feel the indoor football was back.
Yes, 100%. I got to go to the game, thankfully, but our sideline crew tried to do our best to keep the energy going, despite 5,000 less people. Yeah,
no, it was definitely an interesting experience. I never thought I was kind of thinking there was a game in Colorado where they had a blizzard up there in December, and basketball is like game with no fans. Like, oh, weird, we're back 5 years ago. Yeah, and we kind of had to go through a little bit of the same thing here. But let's talk about the actual game. Obviously, Blizzard victorious, 37-35, the final score. Some heroics from Liam Thompson in the first half, getting things done with his legs. And at the end, defense getting the big stops. And again, a turnaround from where we were talking about last year of making big plays inside the 5-yard line. Now Green Bay was able to get those done in this game, and I think that was the huge key in getting this win. Yeah,
our defense was right back in it. Obviously a big difference compared to last year, right? Championship game, we had no stops. This one, we had 3 stops in the first half. So a big difference there, and our D-line looked incredible. Obviously 2 forced fumbles, recovered both, and obviously that last one right at the end, that sealed the victory.
All 5 of the defensive linemen who were active yesterday made some sort of massive impact play. That's going to be a fun group to keep an eye on as we go through this season. Also, just mentioned it, Liam Thompson, the starting quarterback, his first start in a Green Bay uniform. We got to talk with him after the game yesterday with the win over Vegas.
We're here with Blizzard quarterback Liam Thompson after the win in week 1. Obviously a whirlwind of a week, but just walk me through the last 48 hours and coming into this victory against Vegas.
Yeah, it was a really big mental challenge for the guys. Friday we had the news that we're not going to play until today. So just adjusting, adapting, overcoming. I think we did a really good job of that. Guys staying focused and staying on mission. So I'm really proud of the guys for that.
Now, you have the experience of being around this league in the indoor game. How much do you think that helped adjust into this first game and your first start here in Green Bay?
Absolutely. Yeah, last year was a really great learning experience for me. Just to see a bunch of different looks and, just getting used to the different style of game. So we had a great camp, getting chemistry with all the guys here, a fantastic group. So they welcomed me and all the new guys in, and it's been great so far.
We'll walk through a play of the game. First half, that long scramble that you had, breaking the 4-man rush and scrambling in for a touchdown. Walk me through a little bit about your toughness that you play with on the field.
Yeah, that play, if we are in an empty set and they bring the linebacker, we're pretty much hot off of that guy, right? So trying to get rid of it before he gets there. They came through the line and just kind of, I was about to throw it, kind of pulled it down to protect the football and kind of try to evade a little bit. I was kind of shocked that I didn't get sacked. And from there, just trying to keep the play alive as plays all.
Awesome, Liam. Well, we appreciate your time. Congratulations on the win, and we'll see you already back here on Saturday against Fishers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, getting to talk with Liam, he talked about it in that interview. Plays with such toughness. We saw it in a couple of those big plays. What were you impressed with him? And obviously, game 1 in Green Bay, some things to work on, some things that you really were encouraged by.
The first half was incredible from him. For a debut performance, obviously only playing 2 games last year, he looked like a solid quarterback, right? He went through his progressions. He had a lot of time, which was nice due to our line, but he knew when to make the right decisions and he knew when to take off. And he had that rushing touchdown in the second quarter where looked like he should have gone down on the 10. He ended up bringing in a touchdown. A little bit to work on in the second half. He seemed to kind of close up a little bit, but I think it was due to Vegas' defense getting there a little bit quicker. Just stuff to work on, nothing bad, just things to work on, right? Week 1.
The run game was great between Thompson and Sammy Malinaji. Had the game-winning touchdown. A receiving play worked out of the backfield, stretching over the goal line. Kind of felt like the mantra of trying to get those extra few inches, that was definitely felt between the players on the field yesterday for Green Bay. So with that, that'll take us to our icebreaker this week in talking about Fisher's Freight coming up here, obviously coming off a big win. We'll talk about that in a few moments and your experience of getting to go down to Fisher's for the opening night on Saturday. But we got to talk with head coach Dixie Wooten, again, fresh off the heels of a week 1 win and a quick turnaround to coming back here to Green Bay on Saturday. All right, we're here with Fisher's Freight head coach Dixie Wooten. Coach, fresh off of win number 1, in the first game of the season, how was that to be able to get the first one off your plate and get a victory in that left-hand column?
It's always good to get that first one, especially at home in front of your home crowd. You come in, the arena was packed, everybody was excited until get a good win, especially against a great Quad City team, and that was perfect.
And to be able to, again, week 1, the coaches will say, you really want to know where you're at in week 5, but week 1, what did you learn about your team?
Man, I learned that we have a very smart team. We understand how to play the game. We understand how to focus during the game. We didn't have no false starts, and that's the first game, and sometimes that's unreal. But, all together penalties, we had like 3 penalties. So, being disciplined, in the first game, they give you, it's a promising thing to be disciplined out through the season.
And diving in a little bit into your story, you've been around the IFL for several years. Walk us through a little bit of your journey for some people that might not be familiar with your career in the Indoor Football League.
Man, I started in the IFL as a player. I played in indoor game. I played the indoor game for like 9 years, and also so I coached when it done in 2011. I'm in 2012 with the Allen Wranglers. The team that we had brought T.O. in, Terrell Owens in and everything like that. So been coaching. I coached in Allen. I coached in Wichita. I coached in of course I was in coach our Barnstormers, of course, won a championship there. And then made my way to Tucson. Spent about 2-3 years there, and also won a championship in Bay Area. Now I'm in Fishers.
And being able to build this program from the ground up, year 2, take me through last year a little bit, and I'm sure we'll dive into that a little bit with the matchups with Green Bay. But what was that like, the ups and the downs of year 1 for you guys?
Like the fun part about it, Joey, is we went through basically 3 seasons in 1. As an expansion team, you usually go through just all the way down. Then you start trying to come up. And the second year, you're looking to win 4 or 5 games. And then the third year, you try to make a decision on some things. But last year, we started off hot. We went 2-0. And then we went through an 8-game losing streak. Going through that 8-game losing streak, we learned a lot about ourselves, about, what we need to change, how we need to change it. So we did that. And next thing you know, we won 5 in a row. So by winning 5 in a row, we went into the next season understanding how to win, how to overcome obstacles. So now this year, we understand what we need to do to be successful, and that's what we're trying to do.
And I hate to bring it up on this show, but can you walk me through a little bit about how that win streak got started in Fishers with the matchup with Green Bay?
Man, it was a crazy game, man. It was a game that went down to the wire, and we won by a Hail Mary, man. So after that game, we won by the Hail Mary, and next thing you know, all my guys believed again, and we ran out 5 straight.
Well, walk me through a little bit your relationship with Coach Roberson and being able to work with him again. 2 guys that have had a lot of success in this league, multiple-time Coach of the Year. But you guys have a good relationship working with each other. How's that been like, being able to coach against him for all these years? So
what I call Corey, I call him my brother from another mother. I talk to him probably every day, so he's a great guy, man, great family man. Also, he's a guy that we can bounce ideas from each other. But the thing I love about Corey is when we talk, he always tell me the truth, not what I want to hear. He always tell me what I need to know. So, I love him to death, man. One thing about him coaching style is, he's up front. Me and him about the same as when it comes to coaching. We always understand that we're going to always keep it real with our players, but also we're going to push them to the limit to be successful. So, I learned a lot from Corey, man. We bounce ideas again off each other, and, I appreciate him. But when we play against each other, it's a different thing. We go out there, we're very competitive. We try to beat each other, and we want to beat each other and have bragging rights when we go play golf in the off season.
Well, this will be a fun one here at the Resch Center here, week 2 between Fishers and Green Bay. Coach, really appreciate your time and looking forward to seeing you here in Green Bay this weekend.
Absolutely, man. Joey, I appreciate you.
Yeah, Dixie, he's been great to work with over the years. Obviously, a lot of history, a lot of experience in the IFL from around a championship in Iowa, Tucson, Bay Area championship in Tucson, and now it feels like he has something cooking in Fishers, and it's going to be exciting to see that group come up here. Again, kind of talked a little bit about in that interview. It was that Hail Mary in Fishers that really felt that organization turned things around on the field, and they've had some great experiences throughout last season and a huge week 1 win. Talking Blizz this week, we got to talk to Blizzard kicker Andrew Mevis. There are very few times that the kicker can be a star player, but he certainly is in Green Bay here for Andrew Mevis. And not only that, he really has felt ingrained in the Green Bay community since coming here. So happy to talk with Andrew and in his story of this offseason. He was busy this offseason, had some extra plans on the books. So we'll get a chance to talk with him here just on the other side.
Talking Blizz, we're here with Blizzard kicker Andrew Mevis. And Andrew, obviously you're free here in Green Bay. What's this been like being part of this indoor game and getting to be a part of this Green Bay community?
Yeah, 3 years has it's gone very quick. So year 3, first game over with, and on to the next one. But it's been fun. It's been good. Meet guys that come in and the guys who go, and just trying to do everything you can every day and to get better. And I don't know. I'm really starting just to see kind of myself also change within the game or two, and still learning, but then bringing that veteran presence to it and just trying to go out some of the guys that may need a little more help, and then you can kind of see that in the background.
And this off season, obviously, we saw a little bit of you got engaged here during the game last year. But what's that been like? You've gone through this off season, and again, being part here in Green Bay, and around the city as well.
Yeah, the city's great. I love it, and that's probably why I chose to stay here. And also my fiance, she's amazing. And we got engaged here on the IAT.
And play of the season. That was part of the goal, right?
Yeah, it was good. And so we can try the wedding plan, and we got our date set. So we're moving forward with that. They're exhausted. So
another big one this winter. Your brother obviously getting to kick a game-winning field goals in the playoffs in the NFL. Talked about getting to see his rise through the NFL as well.
Yeah, was able to help the Rams knock out Chicago out of the playoffs.
So that'll play well up there.
Yeah. So he did well. Just focusing, taking one kick at a time, and he's been confident, and he's been cooperative, and really just been himself, and it's so great to see, and he has just become a true professional, and it's awesome, and I'm really, really happy for him.
What are you looking forward to with this group here in 2026? Obviously, one game under your belt now, but what are you looking forward to with this bunch?
Yeah, so, I just want to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be, and just trying to see, you see stuff at different guys from in games than you do from practice, just as, games on the line and stuff that's got to happen. Guys got to make plays, and that makes those players great. That's why they're here. And so I think that we're going to continue to grow together and just build the group and build the, 26 Blizzard. And it's going to be fun to see. And I'm so thankful when I get to be a part of it.
Awesome. Well, appreciate your time, Andrew, and we'll be in touch throughout the rest of the season. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you. It's cool, Blizz.
All right.
That was Blizzard kicker Andrew Mevis, and yeah, he's just been, again, really fun to get to know over the years. He's a football guy. He loved just chatting football with him, but he's really been a great human being to get to know in this organization as well. That takes us to our forecast here with these 3 games this week. Start on Saturday. A bit of a doubleheader, Iowa, Quad City on Saturday. That'll get things started. Quad City coming off of the loss, but Iowa, their first game of the season under new head coach Andre Coles. Where do you see this matchup? Quad City can't afford to go 0-2 right here, especially when you're at home.
Yeah, Quad Cities is going to bounce back, I think, pretty well. Obviously, the game's in Quad Cities. I think that's going to make a big difference. They got a great crowd there. Especially the Eastern Conference Championship, they maxed it out, and I'm assuming they're probably going to do that the same here. But Quad Cities is really going to use that week 1 loss and step it up, right? They looked good up until that fourth quarter, and they're going to take their mistakes, and they're going to bring it into a home game. I see them winning this game. Nothing against Iowa. I just don't see them taking a first week victory their first week against Quad Cities.
Yeah, this will be a tough one. Andre Coles, obviously, he's had experience and really good success in the IFL between Frisco and Tulsa, but he's coming into this Iowa program, and he's going to have to have a really tough first challenge going into Quad Cities. I'll also take the Steamwheelers in this one. Going to need to be a big bounce back situation. Keon Williams, he was strong in that first game against Fishers. Now he's going to go against his former team in the Barnstormers. Jumping ahead to Sunday, we've got the Orlando Pirates under new location, new head coach in Rob Keefe, another IFL national champion, going to New Mexico, a new franchise, if you will, in staying in that market in Albuquerque. That one, it should be an exciting one. This one, getting a chance to preview a little bit of the West here, BJ.
Yeah, I think I see Orlando taking this. They have a lot of talent back from Massachusetts last year. I believe it's like 12 returning guys. Bringing in almost the entire coaching staff of Bay Area is a big help. And obviously New Mexico's new, right? They only have a couple of returning players, at least from last season. Jerome Johnson being the big one, obviously, in our book. But I see Orlando taking this. They have a great staff around them, and I see them taking a good first week victory.
There does seem to be a bit of good energy around New Mexico, though. Like it feels like they have a good staff. Obviously, having a former MVP quarterback does not hurt. So that one will be interesting to see. These two teams could be meeting up later this season at the IFL Cup.
Yep.
We'll be keeping an eye on that as we go towards May and talking a little bit more about that as well as we keep moving forward. But yeah, I will also go with Orlando in this one. That is a team that feels like they really are pushing for more than what they've had last year, getting back to the Eastern Conference playoffs and trying to make that stride back to a national championship.
Yep.
It feels like they always have the right pieces. New Mexico, this is going to be a bit of same with Iowa, feels like a bit of a feeling out process for them in the early going. Correct me if I feel like that they have a really good shot to push for that 4 seed in the West.
Yeah, especially with Bay Area not being a team this year, going into dormancy. That 4th seed's really up for grabs for anyone, right? Obviously, you have the top tier contenders in Arizona, Vegas, and San Diego, but that 4th seed could be, where upsets happen. So why not New Mexico, right?
Right. And Monday, we'll have another Monday night football game, this one out in San Diego. It's Northern Arizona against San Diego. And, talking about high-flying offenses, the Strike Force, always under Taylor Jenniser and Nate Davis and all the weapons that they have, it's going to be hard to slow them down. I'll go right off the jump. I'm going with the Strike Force.
Yeah, I totally see the Strike Force taking this, but I will say I could see an upset happening. Northern Arizona brought back 14 guys, and if they kind of play like Fishers did, where they brought back most of their roster and learn from what they did last year, you never know, right? I see Strike Force winning just because they have, in my opinion, a little bit of a better roster, but you never know in some of these Western Conference games.
Yeah, Western Conference does kind of feel like at the top there are the really solidified 3. I feel like the other 4, they're obviously are going to have to give a run for their money somewhere, and
yep.
This one could be an interesting week 1 game in San Diego. As a team that was in the Western Conference Championship a year ago, just, again, 1 overtime play away from getting to the national championship for the first time. they're putting together the pieces.
Yes.
They've got the pieces with this offense on the field to go and win some pretty big games this year. So that's going to be exciting to watch. That takes us to our game, the blueprint of the week. Green Bay against Fishers. And before we dive into it, let's talk a little bit about your trip to Fishers and your experience of getting to go down there for opening night. And you mentioned maybe there's something in the way of getting you back to Green Bay.
Yeah, so we hit snow about Milwaukee, which should have been about an hour and a half drive, closer to 3 hours back.
Yeah.
But we took it well. But the game itself was good. We didn't have the greatest seats, but from what I could see, Fishers was just clicking. They really looked like a Week 6 team. All the pieces were there. They were clicking. A little bit more, not more mistakes, but a little bit of mistakes here or there, but nothing that won't be fixed over the course of the season. Fishers is going to be a tough team this year.
Yeah, and like we talked about, Dixie Wooten, he puts together winning programs, and it's really hard to take him down. What goes into that this week? Now that we've seen both of these teams play, and through the rest of the year, we're going to be able to see teams with a game under their belt. Where do you see these two going forward into this Week 2 matchup here on Saturday?
For the Green Bay side, it's really going to come down to the defense, stopping Felix Harper and Josiah King, that rushing game, right? They did a lot of it last year. They did a lot of read options this last week. And Quad Cities just wasn't able to wrap up. And it's going to come down to our D-line, holding back that offense. They got some great weapons in the receiving room, JT Stokes, CJ Wyndham. So maybe they completely change their playbook and go, super hard on the receiving front. But it's going to be tough to stop that offense.
If you thought ad nauseum we were talking about way too many Bay Area Panthers last week, we'll have another one with Felix Harper in Fishers. So that will be the quarterback battle between Felix Harper and Liam Thompson, guys who were former backups in Bay Area. Now they have their own teams to kind of drive the bus here. That'll be a fun quarterback battle to watch. I think these are two quarterbacks that can really get it done with their legs and have some really nice throws when the time calls for it. Defensively, you talked about that defensive line, this matchup with Vegas trying to get that dual threat nature of Tomas in the backfield, and obviously Jaden Delora as well. It was hard to slow down, so it's going to be another tough test with some mobile play on the other side. CJ Wyndham, former Vegas Nighthawk and Quad City Steamroller, talking with Mike Davis this week. He just called him a dude. Straight up, he's going to be, and he has been, a very tough player to stop in this league. So watch for that pass game as well, as you just kind of alluded to. Weapons, especially on that offensive side. Again, should be an exciting one. We are excited to welcome fans back into the Rest Center. It was strange with this game against Vegas.
Yes.
It's very exciting to, you won't take it for granted. We said it 5 years ago. We're saying it again now. We won't take it for granted the fact that we will have fans back in the building at the Rest Center on Saturday night, 7 o'clock against the Fishers Freight. Game will be broadcast on Yahoo Sports Network. With that, right back to it. It's a quick turnaround from Monday going into Saturday.
Yes.
But this one, again, should be a really exciting matchup. And for Green Bay, both these teams trying to take control here in the Eastern Conference in the early going.
Yep. Someone's got to be 2-0 after this game, and let's make it be us.
And absolutely, that'll do it for our second episode of the Cold Front Podcast. That's BJ Steffen. I'm Joey Bonadonna. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode, and we will see you in the next one. Wrap it up the same way. As always, go Blizz.